Hey guys, it's Mike, the Wrestling God Smith, and you guys are watching All In Wrestling, the premier wrestling TV show that focuses on NXT, 205 Live, SmackDown, Raw, and many more. Okay, the purpose of this video, guys, like I said, I'm gonna do things a little differently. I'm actually talking about Enzo and Cass, the two WWE superstars, Ring of Honor guys now, I guess. So I heard there's this rumor going around they are done. They're quitting Ring of Honor, which I don't really think is really gonna happen because I don't really think Ring of Honor really hired them. And I'll say this because, like I said, I don't think they really hired them. I don't because here's the thing I don't. Here's the reason why I don't think they hired them. Is because, Enzo and Cass, like, their WWE career was good at the time when they were in NXT and they got called up and they got brought to Raw. And I think they could have been something if the push was high. If the push was high enough, like it is now, where Carmella's actually becoming a women's champion, she became a women's champion, and she had a really good, like a successful, like I say, about 4 or 5 women title reign. But here's the thing that I kind of don't get, right? Enzo got fired because of some detectives, because of some cop police scandal thing. Cass got fired because he wasn't entertaining enough, and I get that because his single push was really lackluster, and he could have been somebody if they would have gave him a championship. Or it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. It's just too. It's just like, okay. Here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me, right? And I'm being honest with you guys, right? I'm being very honest with you. The reason what doesn't make any it doesn't make any sense to me is because Ring of Honor is independent. Those dudes came from the WWE. So the pop they would get on the independent, they would be booed out the building. They're kind of in the realm they're in the realm of obscurity to the point where they don't even make enough money, and it's like, okay, Enzo, the guy could have had something if he would have actually got a push. And he actually got a decent push at being a cruiserweight champion, but it was like a lackluster push. And then when he got fired, the dude had the belt, and I saw the TMZ video a long time ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. The guy had the belt in TMZ. He had the cruiserweight title, and I just think that him going, and this is what I think about, right? Him going to the WWE to a point where it would have actually made a lot of sense if the dude was actually a really good guy. Because the thing is, like, okay, the thing is, he could have had a push, and that's the thing. They had nothing for him. They literally had there was no tag. He couldn't really have a tag team era. He was kind of like Big Cass was his angel because dude would talk so much junk, but he wouldn't prove it. And then he gets mad that he was talking. He was mad because he got fired, dude. I would have been like, "Yo, Trips, Vince, leave. I'm leaving, dude. I'm going somewhere else." And that's the thing what Punk should have did. He should have went like when they got him, when they wanted to get rid of him in 2012 when he had the title, and the dude took the title straight and he ran out the building and took it. And it wasn't like, and I'm being honest with you, it wasn't like that. And the thing is, the WWR, and I'm really looking at it from a different perspective. Like I said, I don't hate the WWE, but there's so many guys quitting now. Sasha Banks quit. Dean Ambrose quits. And Sasha Banks really not. I don't know. I think that's a false thing. She's still in the WWE some point. I don't know what they're gonna do with her because they're not really gonna let her go because she's too decorated. She's too talented. She's too decorated. And I would say to Enzo to go to AEW, but where are they really gonna put him? There's no way to really put him. He would be a laughing stock. Chris Jericho would be looking at him like he was crazy. Kenny would look at him like he was nuts. The Young Bucks would probably super kick him in the face like 2 or 3 times a match. There's no point for him to be there. The dude's better off being a rapper and actually making money being a rapper. But he's not even that bad of a rapper. But his album doesn't make any sense. Like the same thing with the vaudevillains. How did Simon Gotch get fired? But freaking Simon Gotch got fired, but not what's his name? Simon Gotch. Aiden, yeah, Aiden English.
Feeling down here.
No, they're in the
Oh,
living room.
do you know what's for dinner? Or is it good? Okay.
Of course he doesn't know, but like I said, Aiden English goes from being a decorated guy, from being a tag team, being a Rusev Day, could have had a shot, and then you know what? He's actually a good commentator on 205 Live. I like that idea. Like I said, then, and this is what I mean with the Enzo and Cass thing, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Enzo and Cass thing, and I'm actually gonna break it up a little bit too. I'm actually gonna talk about the Sasha Banks thing too, since I got the time, and I might as well use the time and cut it like you guys. I hope you guys like this. Like I said, Aiden English isn't bad. He's not a bad guy. This dude went from being a broadcast, from being a superstar, being a mid Carter guy, from going to NXT, being in a tag team, being 2 times that. And that's the thing, they could have been something if Simon Gotch was somebody, if he had the charisma. And that was the Vaudevillains thing. That doesn't work. Being having 1950s styles like um like uh like Patterson, Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, all the old guys, San Martino, guys like that. It doesn't it doesn't make sense now. And like I said with Enzo and Cass, they're a big. Hey mom, can you? No,
What?
I was gonna ask you, can you crack the door?
Oh. Oh.
Thank you. Like I said, like I said, Enzo and Cass, they could have been something. And I just feel like, and this is what I mean with the wrestling, like wrestling has changed so much, and I feel like it's a piece. I don't feel like it's a piece of. I don't feel like it's a piece of crap. To be honest, I don't want to get piece of my mom's outside, right behind the door. I don't want to hear this. Like I said, I don't feel like it's a piece of crap. I just feel like wrestling is mainstream enough to keep guys in, and I kind of feel like that realm of obscurity that hits me is like, okay, we got Enzo, then we got Sasha, and this is what I mean. Like, if WWE actually would have had a little bit of sense, and that's what I think with Vince too, because Vince had a guy, and Vince doesn't really care. Like, Vince doesn't know talent, and that was the problem then. He doesn't know talent. He basically took like I'm saying with the War Raiders thing, he took them, changed their name to the Viking Experience. That doesn't make any sense to me. What the freak did you do? Like, why? This what gets pissed. This is what why we lose interest in WWE, because that's the thing. Everybody has all these guys, and this is what I mean. And I'm not making it a rant video, but like I said, guys, this is what the WWE does. They have no bloody scent. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll bring it over here. We'll grab it over here. They'll grab it over here. And this is what I mean. Because it's this little bag of tricks that they're trying to throw doesn't make any bloody sense. It don't make sense because it's like, okay, this is the crap we throw around because it's like, okay, and this is what happened with CM Punk. This is what happened with him. CM Punk could have been somebody and actually had a great year and actually would have stayed now because he could have brought the new generation like the Shield, AJ Styles, and would have had a match with AJ and probably met the guy. But no, because this dude wanted to be the Antichrist and wanted to be something, it was cool. But that was the thing. He's a rebel. That's what we don't get now. We don't got a guy who's a bloody rebel except the Undisputed Era, which are great guys. And then, mind you, so, and I'm being honest with this, because pretty much when R-Truth wasn't really nothing, R-Truth was kind of like a mid-carder. He was like a nobody at best. And this is what I mean. Like, look what they did. Look what they did with him. They fed him to this guy. They fed him to Ryback or Ryan. I think what was his name. I think his real name was Ryan something. And he was a tough enough guy. He won the tough enough competition. Came back 2 years. Won it in 2004. Came back 2 years later to do Nexus, or in 2010. Came back to do Nexus. Stayed, got a contract in 2012 with Nexus. Stayed with them. Went to do this whole King Kong, like tried to do a Goldberg gimmick, but I think he tried to do a King Kong Bundy as well, and it didn't work out. And then he tried that, and then he tried to do the right back thing with the Shield. Then he had a little bit of popularity because he was with the Shield, because Paul Heyman kind of made the Shield this big faction, and they were bad guys. That was fine. And then turns out he gets buried by John Cena, but I don't really think he gets buried. I think he got buried because he was something that he tried to be, and like this dude was trying to be a Goldberg clone, and it just doesn't work. That doesn't bug me. Like everything that's a solid clone, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Velveteen Dream is everything from WCW to WWE now. The guy literally is like a Mr. Wonderful, a Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Disco Inferno, everything, every gimmick that came and went. But he just has a charisma and he has a following. The guy's like a Hulk Hogan. And I'm not talking about NWO Hulk Hogan. I'm talking about the Hulk Hogan, like Hulkamania Hulk Hogan, 1989 to 1990 Hulk Hogan. That's what he was. And then the crazy part was, they don't, this is what I mean. Like, they had a bunch of gimmicks, and I kind of felt like with Bobby Roode, the guy, he wore the robe. He was just like, he's like Mr. Wonderful. He's like Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, the legendary Paul Orndorff, and nobody talks about the guy. Nobody talks about Paul Orndorff or Kerry Von Erich, none of them. But surprisingly, WCW knows them. Kevin Nash, everybody knows about Kevin Nash, Big Show, DDP. And then somebody tried to be like DDP because I'm pretty sure CM Punk was the DDP. Because nobody knew. And then they go to TNA, which didn't make any sense. They went to TNA, and then we're like, okay, we got Samoa Joe. So he got trained by Kevin Nash. That works with that. But I'm getting off track here, guys. Like I said, the Enzo and casting, I'm like, yo, why would you leave Ring of Honor? That's the only, like, the wrestling company that's gonna take you. Because it feels like ever since they left WWE like 2 years ago, it's like the realm of obscurity doesn't make any sense. It's like why? And that's my question is, why are people quitting? Wrestling is we made it mainstream now. We made it an actual company and a sport, and that's something that should have happened regardless. And I get the reason why Chelsea Banks wants to quit, but why? You're already highly decorated. What do you need to quit for? You've been women's champion. You've been the first women's tag team. So what do you need to quit for? You got a husband. You're inspired by freaking Eddie Guerrero. Nobody wins that shit. Nobody gets that inferior. Nobody even cares about Eddie Guerrero because he's in the land of obscurity since he died. And that's what I don't get. And that's my other question. Why would Dean Ambrose quit? Oh, I forgot. Because the dude couldn't get a number. He couldn't be a Universal Champion. But you got to be World Heavyweight Champion, United States Champion, Tag Champion when you were in the Shield, and Intercontinental Champion, and WWE Champion, and Money in the Bank winner? Come on. You actually got a shot with every title you had. And it's better than anybody that gets in WWE now. Look at Shelton Benjamin. The dude could have been a decorated winner. He could have been decorated. And I'm telling you, that's what happened to him. The guy could have got decorated, but 2009, 2010, the guy leaves. Because nobody knows what to do with Shelton Benjamin because his gimmick, and he went from being Kurt Angle, like Kurt Angle trained him and Charlie Haas, because I don't know why they don't talk about Charlie Haas. and he exists, and he's actually alive. I'm actually surprised, but like I said, see, I'm gonna talk about a guy. I'm gonna give you guys a reference. This is not like I said. I don't make. I love this because I'm gonna talk about a guy. Right? There's this guy named Shelton Benjamin. You guys already know who he is. Shelton Benjamin was this dude who came from a wrestling school, a wrestling like actually wrestling college, mind you, and he was Kurt Angle's friend. Mind you, he was on a team. He was on a faction called Team Angle, which he had Kurt Angle, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin. So when they got to SmackDown, like in 2002, 2003, they were like the most decorated tag team in the world, and that's what happened. They got decorated, then they lost that one match with Eddie Guerrero and I think Rey Mysterio. Then Charlie Haas tried to do the Team Angle gimmick, but it didn't really work. Then Shelton they did the draft. He went to Raw. So he went to Raw. He faced Triple H. He won against him for like the first time because you never think that you could win against Triple H. And this thing, and he went to Triple H. He got trained. He became Intercontinental Champion and the United States Champion in 2008, 2009. So after that little debacle, I think something happened where I think he was losing the audience. I think they were losing interest in him. And then now, fast forward back to 2016, he tried to be American Alpha with Chad Gable, and they could have been something too. But Chad Gable would have been fine if it was Jason Jordan and Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. They all would have been American Alpha because they would have been. It would have been he would have been able to teach them, and that was the problem. Like this, what happens to Jason Jordan? Like nobody knows where that dude's at anymore. Like he's gone. Mojo is gone. Like we don't even know where that dude is, and he came, and he was good. See, like I'm telling you guys, and I don't mean to, and I'm telling you guys, like I don't mean to put like a lot of bad things to go on, but I'm saying this, like Mojo could have been somebody if Mojo was gonna if he was gonna be a team player, if he was gonna be somebody, it would have been fine. But the thing is, like they don't get it because, like I said, Enzo and Cass losing. I'm mad that I'm mad that they're fired because Cass was a great guy and I like their gimmick because they were somebody from New York and they were dudes. They were just dudes, and that's what I mean. And it's like nowadays, it's like now, and I mean it's like, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I mean they can't go anywhere. This is why I feel like wrestling drops off a little bit because like when you fire the like when you have a push, and I'll be honest, like there's a lot of guys that had a lot of pushes, and the funny thing is, like Davari, the rest of these dudes that came around and left, like Muhammad Hassan, and he left and he went back. I think he got married a couple of times too, and that was the thing. Like nobody knew what to do with them, and it was like, that's what I kind of felt like with Rene Dupree. Like nobody ever asked like what happened to Rene Dupree or what happened to Sylvia Garnier. Like what happened to them? What happened to La Resistance? And they were good too. Like La Resistance were good. William Regal was good. And the guy, William Regal, went from being a wrestler, retired, became honorary general manager of Raw, went to NXT, changed NXT for the better to be general manager. And that's what we don't, like, we have a guy like that who trains Cesaro and actually win the match with Cesaro, show him a couple of things, and going to the young recruits and telling them like, hey, this is how you're doing it wrong. And he's not a mean guy. I think talking to William Regal, I probably would want to join NXT because there's an opportunity. I would train my butt off just to get into NXT. I don't want you to hand it to me. I don't want you to let me sign a contract. Let me work for that. Let me show you why I want to go to NXT. Let me show you. And this is what I mean. Like, there's a lot of guys that could have been something. Like, they don't even... The funny thing is, they don't even talk about Chavo. And Chavo is alive. They could have brought Chavo to bring him back to SmackDown just to show this dude that he's actually a good guy. No. Vince doesn't want to call him. Triple H doesn't want to call him. And they got a bunch of dudes. There's a lot of guys worth of picking for WWE. And I'm gonna give you guys some predictions, right? 5 guys I want for the WWE next year. One would be Chavo, two would be Kenny Omega, three would be the Young Bucks, four would be Marty Scurll because he's the villain, and I really want him. I really want him there because I really want to see the Young Bucks, and I want to see like they are the baddest tag team. I think anybody can not beat them, and I want to see a fight between Undisputed Era and Bullet Club. That will blow everybody's mind. Like Bullet Club gets back together, and that's what could have happened if WWE pushed the Bullet Club thing. If he pushed the idea or the elite, if they pushed them, if they got guys, if they did something, and that's what I mean with with Mike Kanellis. Like ever since this dude was on Impact and they took him, and now that he's on WWE, he sucks. He literally sucks buns. Buns. He can't even wrestle, and that's the funny thing. You put this dude on SmackDown, doesn't get a decent title shot. You put him on 205 Live. Oh, to be the next Cruiserweight champion? But you got Tony Nese, you got Alexander, you got Buddy Murphy, you got Lucha, but you couldn't. But for some reason, they can never elevate that dude, and for some reason, it's going to make the ratings go even lower because of the fact that Mike Kanellis is bad. But like I said, guys, listen. And this is my last point before I call it quits. Like I said, my last point is like, yo, this Enzo and casting is stupid. This dude had a seizure. He's trying to be a wrestler again, but he can't because there's not enough money for him now. And the thing is, without Enzo really being the way that he was, and the thing is, he's mad that he left and everything. Oh, he's doing something. Yeah, you're doing something, but dude, you're in the realm of obscurity. You're in the realm of obscurity. That's why you don't make money. Because nobody cares. Nobody knows who you are. It's like you're bare, like you don't even show up. Because the thing is, if you actually went to WWE and asked for your job back, that would be kind of like, oh, why would I go to them? They fired me. No, dude. If that scandal would have never happened, you probably would have never been fired. You probably would have been fired for a bad push, but not be some police thing. Really? That's what I kind of feel with Enzo, yo. He gets like, and this is what I mean with the WWE. Like, they don't really know how to handle scandals really well, and they're not like every other company. I mean, Impact would probably be fine because there's something different. Like, and I really think Vince should be out of the wrestling business, and Triple H should be taking over and say, "Listen, if you get a scandal, listen, we're not gonna fire you. It's a scandal. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not doing drugs. You didn't get arrested. You didn't drink. You don't smoke. You're not doing drugs. You're not doing prostitution." And that's the thing. Wrestling is like in a way because the thing is like the women like before they are what they are now, it was all about eye candy. Because look at Tori Wilson, and she's a catch. She has a husband, and I'm actually surprised. She actually got. I'm like, yo, Stacey Keebler got freaking George Clooney, and usually you don't get that. But like I said, guys, like and comment and subscribe to the video. Peace.